was from the National Association of Black Journalists. To give context to the people that's going to see this, we're black media, we're black independent media, and we've had our struggles navigating this space since 2010. A lot good, so we won't complain too much, but we had our fair share of rejection. So the context was the National Association of Black Journalists is calling for a meeting with the NFL. It's calling for a meeting with the NFL due to lack of representation in media hirings.
Right.
So I want you to take it away with your thoughts on that.
Well, the thing is that one, it is a great thing to say. It's a great way to bring attention. But two, why is it taking so long? Why is it taking this long to have this conversation? Me and you have talked about this before. We've been seeing this. So, I'm sorry. We've been seeing this before. So my whole thing and my whole mentality is like, if we're in most media rooms, me and you have been in media rooms.
A lot since 2010.
Preseason NBA, college football.
And basketball. Men and women.
WNBA, okay? I can't tell you about the scarcity of the people of color in the rooms. And then even when you get in the rooms, they want you, and we talked about some people, they want you to just sit there. Like you're just like a representative.
You got to be lucky if you get one question off.
One question
and
in.
I'll say not all programs, some. So I'll be fair, but there's been a couple instances where we're in a room and the media relation person is telling us to put our hand down.
Facts. Which you're gonna get exposed very soon. Don't worry. We play chess, and I don't think you know who we know that's gonna have a conversation with you. You ever do that again? So I'm gonna make that very clear.
We also sent emails out to certain NFL teams, and they hit us with the well, you need to get your numbers up.
Yeah.
But now we're hearing from other black media who work for major publications. Because if you go look at that post, and I'm going to screenshot it.
Yeah.
I'm going to overlay it over this
what
video.
I said, yep.
No, I'm talking about the person who commented on that post. I don't know if you saw it. He said, yeah, I agree with you, but I work for a major media company, and they still won't let me in. And I'm going to overlay that. So it's not just the independent black media. It's the black media that also works with major media companies and still can't get a freaking reporter gig to a game.
Mind you, you got a newspaper that's bringing like 4 kids. And I'm going to say that again, kids. That are like in college and just trying to get a credibility of a journalistic credit. And they ain't even doing nothing, man. Why you got 4 people from a newspaper coming in here to cover a game? Are you kidding me? To do what? And they ain't doing nothing but sitting there being bozos. They don't know what they're talking about. They're not giving a perspective. Let me tell you something, man. I don't care how this sounds. Charles III is not going to give an opinion that Azar is going to give an opinion. Who you think they're going to listen to from that looks like me? They're going to listen to Charles, they're going to listen to me. Where do you think they get that credibility? You got to stop saying that, because we got Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, which do a great job, and Ryan Clark and all them, that, we have credibility in NFL. No, we don't. No, we don't. I want to see, you know what I want to see? A screenshot of what those media, because you know how we look at it different. So when you see the interviews, the post-game interviews, you see the table and you see the player.
Yeah.
You don't see who's sitting back there. Yeah. I guarantee there's not one black face if there is one black face. So, the NFL has a major problem. There is a big problem with the NFL. It is bad. Now, college, they're pretty lenient, except for the big conferences. They even will let you in. You just got to have your credibility straight. WNBA, for most organizations, with the exception of one that's in New York, so we all know who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. They're pretty much they give you the respect and credibility you deserve if you have your ducks in a row. And I said college basketball, college football too. Yep. Same thing. It's a fight to certain conferences, but you have your credibility, they let you in, right? But with the NFL and with the New York area, I'm gonna say the New York area, that's part in New Jersey, not the one up north and out west. The point I'm making is
you're being nice. I'm going to say it. The fucking Jets.
Yes.
I'm not tap dancing during Black History Month.
Right.
And the person there, I won't say your name, but the person there is a person of color.
Yeah. And they give you all types of issues, all types of excuses. They tell you that for right now, they didn't even, I could tell they didn't look at nothing we doing. And then when I saw who got in there, I was like, are you kidding me? They got in there? I'm not going to, I would never throw anybody under the bus from sources. There was somebody that got in there. They showed me who got in there. And I don't know how they got in there. I don't know why a school newspaper's in there. Please explain that to me. Who in the hell is looking at a school newspaper for what's going on in the NFL? Let that sit there. Who is going into a school newspaper outlet to find out what's going on in the NFL? I ain't never in my life, in all my years on this earth, have ever looked at that. Before social media, internet, it was the ESPN. And then once social media, internet came, it was always, the platforms that was. So it was ESPN, Fox, certain. I ain't never looking at no school newspaper. What school newspaper? What are you bringing to the? Come on, man. What are you telling me right now? Get my numbers up to what? That local paper that's not doing anything? I don't see any videos. I don't see any post-game videos. I don't see any highlight clips. I don't see nothing. So they're going to have to answer for something. Why don't y'all step up, man? I see the Pivot podcast is running around, but see, that's because Ryan Clark was a player. So they give him access to certain venues that they would never give us access to.
And let's separate, like you said, the former players who are millionaires that can fund the podcast.
Yeah.
The Cam Newtons. Yes, he's gonna get NFL players because he was in the damn NFL. Same thing with Ryan Clark. Salute to them.
Right.
But we're talking about black journalists like me and you that's been in this space for 15 years.
That's getting started.
And other black journalists, not just men. I'll salute the women too, because there's a lot of black women journalists that are going through the same thing in this.
Facts.
And they tell us too when we bump into them, yo, we can't get into this college game. Yo, we can't get into the WNBA for this team.
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. I'm talking about black journalists who are not millionaire athletes.
Facts. And they're getting black and nobody's talking about it.
So that's
there's not to throw shots, and I'm not throwing shots at them. Please don't take it, because I love Shannon Sharp. Stephen A. Smith, 50. He's I respect him because I've seen what he's going through. But it don't condone some of that stuff you be saying and doing, and that's a conversation.
Let's stick on
man to man. But it's just he's not the representation of all of us.
Okay,
and I think that's what I'm kind of trying to get here. You see the Pivot podcast, and they go to certain training camps and they talk to players. We can't do that. They won't even let us in the door. So somebody needs to step up and say it. So I mean, Shannon Sharp can get in there. We can't get in there.
That's what I said. Not millionaire athletes.
And then the thing is, and let me call it what it is. It's a token representation. It's nothing against them, but it's like, well, look at who's all covering the NFL. Who are you talking about? The people that work for ESPN? What happened? Let me, you know what? Thank you for bringing this up. Did you see the last week of the NFL? Was it week 18 or 17? They were wearing social justice and entrepreneurship and all that. So what happened? And you're like, the whole Black Lives Matter, and we're all about, diversity and everything. So how come the media ain't diverse? When we gonna hear about that? You got Malcolm Jenkins and all that talking about, we're having conversations. What conversations are you having about black media? Do not tell me. And you know what? Not to throw shots, and I'm not throwing shots at them, but the questions I want asked about the Shannon Sharp and them, don't you dare tell me that when you came in, and see, it's a thing of, the sad part is they're accustomed to it. You're a player of color. Half the time when you walk through a media room, nobody in there looks like you. And I think when you get on this side of things, I don't think you realize it because you've been on that side so long. But to me, it's a duty and an obligation that it needs to be said. And it needs to be representation more than ESPN.
That's why I brought this book up.
Facts.
See, I was playing chess.
Yeah.
I didn't bring this book up because it was Black History. I brought it up because it's intertwined with the topics we're talking about.
Yeah.
The miseducation of some of these Negroes.
Yeah.
Go back in.
Yeah. So it looks at me like the point I'm making is that you're not saying anything. You're not. It's more than just the players, man. We got something to say too. And we got a way of saying it too. And we look at it from an angle too. It ain't just them on ESPN and Fox. Who you think you fooling with that? That's why I differentiated when I said millionaire athletes who now have podcasts. Yeah.
It's expected for Cam Newton to get every NFL athlete. It's expected for Ryan Clark and all of them. They're millionaire athletes that can fund. I'll even take us out of the equation, even though I'm not taking us out of the equation. I'm talking everyday black journalists.
Yeah.
men and women of color that's been in this space longer than 10 years that's being told, yeah, we see your resume. We see that you done put in 10, 15 years of work, but you can't even come to a summer training camp.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You mean I've been covering professional sports for 15 years and you still want me to lick the damn ground to get into a training camp?
Yeah.
So salute to the National Association of Black Journalists. I pray that they don't let up. I pray that they put their foot on their neck on this topic, because black media, the only other person outside of them is Roland Martin. Roland Martin has been taking people to task about black media and lack of advertisement, and going to these companies and looking at their board of directors and doing what you said. You're a person of color on the board of directors. What's going on? Why are you not talking up? See, we got to start naming names.
Yeah.
So salute to Roland Martin for always speaking up for black media, and salute to the National Association of Black Journalists.
And the thing about the NABJ, because I saw that post, because they're talking about hiring practices. I'm not talking about hiring practices. I'm talking about owners that want in. I'm not talking about being hired. I don't want to be hired. I don't, man. I'm not going to work for somebody that don't respect me and wants to say, yo, you be grateful you coming in here and we're going to put you in this spot. And then what, put me in a high school game? Don't do it, man. Because I'm mollywop you. I'm not doing it. We have our own lane, and we're going to do it our way. And if you don't want to let us in, that's fine. But then what's that say about the people that are in? Yo, you ain't going to say nothing? You ain't going to say nothing? Really? You have an obligation. Trust me when I tell you, even though you think you don't, and they know who I'm talking about, you have an obligation. I don't care, because, you know, the players, and shouts out to them. I'm happy. Let me say this much. I'm happy that the athletes now have this platform of ones that look like us, because there was nobody talking for us. And that's why those players were always getting into trouble in those bad interviews, because they had some geeky, degenerate jerk that was a social misfit trying to have an interview about something that he don't know what he's talking about.
Don't come from our culture.
Don't come from our culture.
Speak the language.
And interviewing and talking and don't know what the hell he's talking about.
What Mobb Deep said, or Nas said, you don't speak the done language.
No, facts.
What's the dealie with that though? You ain't banging.
Yeah. So why is this guy here? What is he here for? That dude is interviewing that guy? Really? So understand what I'm saying is just, what I want to end with is just, when I hear that, I'm happy about what they're saying about the hiring practices, but I ain't looking for a job.
As black media owners,
I'm not looking for no job. I'm looking for the opportunity to cover like everybody else. And it's going to be what it's going to be, or it's not. Don't know what to say.